From Australia, this is VK1WIA and the weekly WIA amateur radio news service on RF, internet streaming and text at wia.org.au.
National news for week commencing May 10, 2020, in our 25th year of non-stop news. This week comes from Tasmania, yes, VK7, who are social distancing like the rest of Australia, although it's a little easier here as we have a natural moat around our island, hi. If COVID-19 hadn't struck, then you would all have been down in VK7 enjoying the WIA annual conference weekend with the theme of Antarctic Gateway. Oh well. It's a very different world we're living in at the moment, and it will be more likely to be a very different world going forward. Rest assured that amateur radio seems to have been one of those hobbies that has been able to flourish in these ISO times. The airwaves are abuzz with activity, and clubs are using online resources like Zoom and Skype to provide services to their members, and the WIA has been able to provide clubs with conference facilities via the Google Meet and Hangout platforms. The ARRL also reports that demand for the amateur radio assessment services has risen 700% since the start of the pandemic. Many national societies have been promoting different campaigns during the pandemic, like the Royal Society of Great Britain. The RSGB, as part of their Get on the Air to Care campaign, has made the May edition of RADCOM available to radio amateurs around the world to read online as a sample edition. A number of IARU national societies have taken a similar step, and the RSGB is happy to join those societies in supporting the worldwide amateur community during these difficult times. Now, from our WIA board, a reminder that the revised date for the WIA Annual General Meeting for 2020, which will be a hybrid meeting, is to be held on the 25th of July 2020 at the National Office in Bayswater, Victoria, with due restraint as to the COVID-19 restrictions. And more details will become available soon. Comes from the WIA Secretary. And WIA Annual Conference 2021. Whilst on postponements and revised dates, we can now announce the dates for the WIA Annual Conference in 2021. The dates will be April the 30th to May the 2nd, 2021, and as announced earlier, the conference will be held in Hobart, Tasmania. Second time lucky. This will allow for rebooking of airfares within the 12-month rebooking limit that most airlines have imposed, and this also applies to the bookings made on the Spirit of Tasmania ferries. We are currently revising the format of the conference to bring the technical presentations all into one stream, so no one misses out on a presentation. This will involve some revision of when things occur on the Saturday, so watch this space. Do you have some ideas, or would like to see something at the 2021 WIA Annual Conference? Then please get in contact with the organising committee at email WIA2021conference, all one word, @gmail.com.
International news with thanks to IARU, RSGB, SARL, Southgate AR Club, ARRL, RAC, NZART, Amateur Radio Newsline, and the worldwide sources of the WIA. Norway. Amateur Radio exams alfresco. Local radio amateur club LA3F, south of Oslo, had just completed its annual course for would-be radio amateurs. The latest 3 participants were just ready for their exam when the coronavirus struck. Norway started to shut down activities and meetings for an indefinite period. A normal exam was not possible due to the strict rules of physical distance and limitations on the number of people who could meet. So in order to get these 3 new amateurs on board, LA2RR Ole agreed with the Norwegian regulator to hold an outdoor exam where all guidelines could be obeyed. After all, 2 meters matters. Armed with all the necessary paperwork and with antibac for hand disinfection, he met with the 3 candidates in the forest outside the local scout cottage. Here in the open air there are tables a minimum of 5 meters apart, so with just the 4 of them it was corona safe to hold the written exam. Although early spring in Norway, the temperature was around 10 degrees Celsius, and everybody had dressed warmly, so that the temperature out in the forest could not be used as an excuse should any of them fail. Olay is happy to report that all three candidates passed, and we can all welcome LA5EUA, LB8QI, and LB8RI to the wonderful world of wireless. Ireland. Last Wednesday week, EI4GNB in Ireland managed to complete a digital FT8 contact with LY2WIA on 40.220 MHz on the new 8-metre band. Not only was this an EI to LY first, but it was also the very first contact made between any two countries on the band. The distance was approximately 2,039 kilometres and propagation was sporadic E. It should be noted that while Lithuania does not have an official allocation at 40 MHz, the licensing authorities in the country have kindly given LY2WIA special permission to carry out experiments on the spot frequencies. This is Catherine, VK1WIA for the WIA National News.
Thanks, Catherine. Continuing with international news from the USA, and what goes up sometimes can't get down. A 66-year-old man was rescued from a ham radio tower. Firefighters were called in to rescue a 66-year-old man who was stuck on a friend's amateur radio mast in South Dakota. The man was stuck about 20 feet above the ground, and the sheriff's office says his arm was pinned under a retractable part of the tower. A high-angle rescue was performed, and the jaws of life were then used on the tower to free the man's arm. He was not wearing safety equipment, and he was there helping a friend to do some work on the hobbyist's tall tower of power. You can watch a short video of this news report on the link in the text edition of this broadcast. Contest University, a staple of Dayton Hamvention, will take place online this year through the Zoom video platform, and all sessions will be free. You can register on Contest University, that's all one word, contestuniversity.com. Live Contest University sessions via Zoom will get underway on the 14th of May at 12:45 UTC. These will also be recorded and archived. Ham radio operational news. It's a contact sport. The VK Shires, the June long weekend, which is the weekend of June 6th and the 7th. Trent, VK4 Tango Sierra, has sent the WIA National News some COVID-19 rule variations. No multi-op. No rover. Repeat QSOs every 4 hours. 8-hour category must nominate 2 by 4 hours. The start time is 00 hours UTC for the 24-hour. All HF contact bands 160, 80, 40, 20, 15 and 10. IARU HF World Championships July 13th and 14th. Trans-Tasman Low Band Contest. The next contest the 17th of July and has the aim of encouraging low band activity between VK and ZL on 160, 80 and 40 metres using SSB, CW, RTTY or PSK. The RD or Remembrance Day contest will be on August the 15th and 16th. Oceania contest, voice from 0800 hours UTC on Saturday, October the 3rd to 0800 UTC Sunday, October the 4th. CW from 0800 UTC on Saturday, October 10 to 0800 UTC Sunday, October 11.
Thanks, Mike. Continuing with ham radio operational news. WIA DX Awards Leaderboard Competition concludes for 2019. This annual VK-only competition is designed as a friendly competition to determine how well participants are performing compared to their peers. It is intended to encourage participation in DXing and hopefully inspire operators to improve their knowledge of propagation, try new techniques, build better stations, and improve their operating skills. In other words, to become a better DXer. Congratulations to all winners and place getters who are entitled to a certificate, First place winners are also entitled to purchase a crystal plaque. First place getters in some 12 possible categories were shared between just 4 operators: VK3 BDX, VK2 DX, VK2 FBAG, and VK7 CW. Any wonder with a call like that, Steve, VK7 CW did take out the CW section. The chase now restarts for 2020. Good luck! Thanks to Graham Alston, VK3 GA, WIA DX Awards Manager, for that information.
From Australia, this is VK1WIA and the weekly WIA amateur radio news service on RF, internet streaming and text at wia.org.au.
All major Australian contests, rules and results are on the contest section of the WIA website. Australia, Station VI 250 Cook commemorates Captain James Cook's voyage on HMS Endeavour along Australia's east coast with activity to August 31st. For QSL information, see qrz.com. Members and operators of the Japanese Antarctic Research Expedition Team will be active as 8J1RL from Showa Research Station, Queen Maud Land, AN 015, until January 2021. Activity will be on various HF bands using CW and the digital modes. QSL via 3G to MLI or by the JAL Bureau. And now, on a COVID-19 theme, Chile stay-at-home station 3G2 home is now QRV. Activity has been mainly on 20 metre CW, QSL via LOTW only. Africa, 5Z4 stay home is active. Israel stay at home, station 4X2 be safe until August 12. Activity will be on various HF bands, QSL via 4Z1TL. Jamaica is supporting the COVID-19 stay-at-home event as 6Y6 stay home, and activity has been heard on 40 metres, QSL via EA5GL. And Thailand, E2 stay home is now active. This has been Danny, VK7 FREQ, for the WIA National News.
Continuing with ham radio operational news, the summer VHF-UHF Field Day results released. Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH, the interim manager of the VHF-UHF Field Day contests, lets us know all about these results, and he starts by giving us some of the aims of this contest. And the overriding aim of this contest is to get away for the weekend and have fun. But next after that, the aims are to encourage more activity on VHF and microwave bands, to encourage people to work greater distances than usual by operating portable, and to provide opportunities for people to activate or work new grid squares. In the contest, there were 95 logs from 92 stations from all states and territories except VK8. There were 8 multi-operator portable stations, and all bands were activated from 50 MHz through to 122 GHz. Congratulations to all who participated and put in the effort to go portable and operate on these challenging bands. Given the broadcast is coming from VK7 this week, I have to mention that the longest contact was on 6 metres over a distance of 1881 kilometres, and was between VK4WIS and VK7OTC Portable. On you guys. Last weekend was the Harry Angel Memorial Sprint Contest, and from the numbers being handed out, there was some great participation in this short fire 80 metre contest, and we look forward to those results soon.
Who listens to radio? That Go where you go, medium, call radio.
VK2KWJ, VK2 Whiskey Uniform, VK2WIA, Tequila 2 X-Ray Echo, VK2 Echo Mike Foxtrot, VK2PH, VK8MA, VK8 November Hotel, VK8GT.
Ham Radio Historical News. Some fascinating history of the Oceania DX contest. A reminder that the 2020 Oceania DX contest will be held on the 3rd and 4th of October for phone and the 10th and 11th of October for CW between 0600 Zulu Saturday and 0600 Zulu Sunday. See the full rules at the link on the email edition of this broadcast. We can be proud that this is one of the oldest contests in amateur radio. In 1934, the Victorian division of the WIA organised an international radio contest to celebrate the centenary of the founding of Melbourne. It was organised under the leadership of Bob Cunningham, VK3ML. Prizes were more than plaques and certificates. First prize was an RCA 852 tube. Other prizes included more tubes and some meters. The following are some great quotes from AR magazine of the time. The enthusiasm of VK3ML is contagious. My, the ether just reeks of DX. Take a large breath and sample it. Taste those G's. They go well for breakfast, as one author once said. Those F's, W's, YI's, etc. They are our meat for October. So go to it, polish up that gear and start working DX just to get the atmosphere prior to the big event. The event was held over 4 Saturdays in October. It was such a success that the WIA was encouraged to join with the NZART to create the VKZL International DX Contest in 1935. This new contest was again organised by VK3ML and a committee. They created a serial number system similar to those in some sprint contests now. In those days, contacts were not usually on the same frequency. That rather stops the technique of listening to the number given out by the CQing station on the previous contact and just adding one. It is also pre-computer. The contest was again held over the 4 weekends in October, Saturday 1700 GMT to Sunday 1700 GMT. Contacts could only be made once on each weekend, but could repeat up to 4 times over the month. Only one mistake was made in the rules. They wanted to encourage 28 meg activity, so offered a 500-point bonus for 28 meg contacts. However, they were unclear whether this was a one-off bonus for just the first contact on the band, or was a bonus of 500 for each and every 28 meg contact made. This was made even more critical as the band opened, and very well, and some stations made a lot of contacts all over the world. VK4BB made 61 contacts on 28 megs, and in that were W, J, F, O, N and G call signs. The largest number of receiving logs came from Germany. I wonder if this was part of radio training for the developing military. The goal of the contest was achieved. It is the same as our current goal for the Oceania contest. Get the rest of the world look for stations down this way so that we can make more contacts over long distances. Everything then was hand-keyed CW, homemade equipment and limited antennas. All logging was done by hand, with possibly the odd typewriter in use. Mostly you called CQ for a while and then tuned the band to see if anyone was calling you. Compare that to today, where even cheap second-hand transceivers are capable of performance the boys and girls in 1935 could not even dream would happen. We can connect our equipment to a computer so that the frequency is automatically logged. There are a number of support logging programs to make operating in the Oceania contest a pleasure, not a chore. Motivation for operating in contest is as varied as the human beings that enter. Some try to work new DX, new countries, new islands and so on. Others are just happy to make contacts. Contests make sure that a lot of people are on at the same time. This often creates the magic of bands opening that had seemed to be closed. Some want to win overall, to win their section, to win their state, or beat last year's score. Join us in October, handing out serial numbers and making contacts. How you get on is less important than having fun. This is a hobby that has many facets. There's always something you can do. And that came from Martin Luther, VK7 Golf November. Thanks, Martin.
From Australia, this is VK1WIA and the weekly WIA amateur radio news service on RF, internet streaming and text at wia.org.au.
Worldwide Special Interest Groups. New SSTV software. Genio EA1ADA reports that YO9IQ, a modern version of the popular slow scan TV software MMSSTV, is now available, and just some of the improvements include both English and Spanish languages supported, equipment control through the OmniRig system, independent memory system, download data directly from QRZ.com, improved image reception settings, download from the link in our text edition of WIA National News.
Thanks, Peter. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Women in Radio. The Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association held their AGM last Monday night, and it was well attended. It was pleasing to welcome back a couple of members who we haven't heard on the air for a while. A special vote of thanks was given to Jean, VK5TSX, who was stepping down from the position of secretary after 8 years. Jean will continue in the role of VK5 State Rep, a position she's held for 24 years. President Linda Luther, VK7QP, presented Jean with a virtual certificate of appreciation, and the real thing will be presented to her as soon as the VK5 monthly lunches can start again. The following nominations were accepted and will form the ALARA Committee for 2020-2021. President, yours truly, Linda, VK7QP. Vice President, Shirley, VK5YL. Secretary, Minute Secretary, Tina, VK5TMC. Treasurer, Souvenir Custodian, Catherine, VK7GH. Editor and Sponsorship Secretary, Tina, VK5TMC. Award Custodian, Marilyn, VK5DMS. Contest Manager, Sue, VK5AYL. Web Mistress, Lynn, VK4SWE. Publicity Officer, Jenny, VK3WQ. State Reps, VK1 and 2, .VK2DB. VK3, Jean, VK3VIP. VK4, Lynn, VK4SWE. VK5 and 8, Jean, VK5TSX. VK6, Bev, VK6DE. And in VK7, myself, Linda, VK7QP. Positions of historian and librarian are still vacant, and volunteers are welcome. 73s and 33s from Linda, VK7QP, President of ALARA.
Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Final Frontier. RS-44 amateur radio transponder activated almost 4 months after being launched into orbit. This is an amateur radio linear transponder SSB-CW payload onboard Russian satellite DOS-AAF-85 or RS-44. It's a small scientific satellite named after the 85th anniversary of the Voluntary Society for the Assistance to the Army, Aviation and Navy, the organisation responsible for military training of Soviet youth. It features a hexagonal prism structure with body-mounted solar cells. Transmitter power 5 watts, beacon 435.605 MHz, transmits call sign RS-44. Inverting transponder, Earth to space, 145.965 MHz plus or minus 30 kHz, space to Earth 435.640 MHz plus or minus 30 kHz. Continuing with satellite news, redesigned AMSAT CubeSat simulator launched. A new design for the CubeSat Sim, the AMSAT CubeSat simulator, is now available. The CubeSat Sim is a Raspberry Pi 0W based functional model of a 1U CubeSat nanosatellite for demonstrations and educational outreach. It has a 3D printed frame structure and is designed to act as reasonably as possible as one flying in low Earth orbit. The simulator runs on rechargeable battery power and solar panels and transmits its authentic voltage, current and temperature telemetry on our UHF band. The CubeSat Sim has been presented to the AMSAT Space Symposium the past 2 years and at Hamvention last year. This has been Peter, VK7 Papa Delta for the WIA National News.
Worldwide Special Interest Group, IOTA. IOTA Contest 2020. RSGB have announced that the annual Islands on the Air contest, which takes place the weekend of July 25-26, will go ahead this year. However, in line with stay-at-home guidance to minimise the impact of COVID-19, the 2020 contest will be exclusively for single operators using their home stations. Also, RSGB will not be awarding trophies this year, but downloadable certificates will be available to the winners. Another rules amendment for 2020 is that the sending of a signal report in every QSO is mandatory, a change from the 2019 rules which indicated that a signal report was optional.
Special interest groups, ROTA recipes on the air. ROTA is the one and only worldwide recipe swapping net. To start cooking, tune your radio to the 20 metre band and 14.183 MHz. 0630 UTC, Mondays, straight after the ANZA net. Fun on the air, swapping information about recipes or favourite ingredients. Listen for the gastronomic cue from Lynn, VK4SWE. This is Mike, VK7 Foxtrot Bravo, for the WIA National News.
Worldwide Special Interest Group, Medical. Does contesting and searching for special event calls raise your blood pressure? World Pulmonary Hypertension Day went live on ham radio this past week. Special event station W2H was active to promote World PH Day, taking place on May the 5th. And although World PH Day fell on May the 5th in North America, the station went live from May the 4th through to May the 6th, so people could tune in from every time zone. This is Linda, VK7QP, for the WIA National News.
And final reception reports. WIA News rebroadcasters often give shortwave listeners a welcome to the broadcast as they commence callbacks straight after their local news. And local news follows the national news in all states. It would be great if those SWLs would email their reception reports and locations to email callbacks, all one word, at wia.org.au. And the 2020 social scene. Due to the COVID-19 situation, please check these events direct for up-to-date status information. And in 2020, in VK7, the VK7 Biennial Hamfest in November, VK4, the Rockhampton Amateur Radio Annual Dinner, Saturday the 21st of November. VK4 as well, the TARC Christmas Party, Sunday the 13th of December from 2 p.m. And the TARC Christmas Lights Tour, Friday the 18th of December from 7 p.m. And into 2021, VK2, the Wyong Field Day, tentatively on February the 28th. And of course, the WIA Annual Conference, April the 30th to May the 2nd. And the Alara Meet 2021 in Bendigo from October the 1st to the 4th, 2021. And this has been Justin, VK7 Tango Whiskey, and the VK7 National News team wishing you 73 for the coming week. And remember, stay safe and keep one wavelength apart at 144 MHz.
From Australia, this has been VK1WIA and the weekly WIA amateur radio news service on RF. We thank our rebroadcast team and you for listening, and remember, internet streaming and text of this news is available 24/7 at wia.org.au.